Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shelby Love. We begin with an update in the Spring Weems case. The woman found dead in a trash can after her adoptive son, Jordan Weems, killed her with a hammer. New court filings show that Jordan Weems will be held without bond. The next court date in the case is set for February 24th. And Spring Weems' loved ones have started a GoFundMe to help with funeral expenses and stability for her family. We'll have a link to that on our News 9 app and at news9.com. Now we're taking a live look from our Lucky Star Sky Cam network. I mean, who knew the 40s and 50s could feel so warm, right? Especially after all the freezing temps we've had. Let's get over to Andrew Adams in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Andrew, I'm still seeing snow on the ground. How much longer till it all melts away?
Well, it's going to kind of depend on which snow we're talking about, right? We go into the parking lots, especially at the shopping centers, and you see those giant mounds of snow. Those are going to take a few more days, but most of our snow is melting off pretty nicely, and that's going to continue the next few days as we see more warm afternoons. It was a cold morning as we kicked off February. February 1st started off in the teens, wind chills colder than this, but by the afternoon, we saw things improve pretty nicely. We got back up into the 50s and upper 40s, and my computer's frozen. That's why this is not going forward for you, but it was really nice this afternoon. We saw a lot of sunshine, and we're going to be on the chilly side heading into the evening and overnight, but it's only going to be seasonally chilly as we kick off on Monday. There are more warm days to talk about on the 9-day. We're going to be getting up into the 60s for several days. Only one cold front to talk about. We're also going to take a look at why all that cold winter air isn't coming back to Oklahoma, at least in the next 9 days. More on that coming up for the Bob Mills Weather Center.
Yeah, sounds like the computer is ready for a warm-up too, Andrew. Thank you. Now let's get to New at 5. One person is dead after being hit by a train near Pauls Valley this afternoon, according to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. OHP says this happened around 2 p.m. near County Road 1550 and US 77. That's north of Pauls Valley. You see it on the map there. Investigators, they've not released yet the victim's identity or what led up to the incident. The Oklahoma County Detention Center is investigating the death of an inmate. Court records show Jeremiah Coffey was in custody on drug trafficking charges. Jail officials say he was found unresponsive in his cell last Wednesday and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner will determine how Coffey died. Well, this story is alarming here. A sexual assault reported Saturday at an OU dorm in Norman, according to campus officials. OU campus safety issued a critical alert stating the reported assault happened at a residence hall. The university did not release information on whether an arrest has been made or if there's an ongoing threat to the campus community. And a father's tragedy is driving a push for new child welfare protections. His only son died from a fentanyl overdose in his mother's care. Now lawmakers are considering a bill aimed at preventing this from happening again. News 9's Stephanie Manici joins us live in the studio with more details now. Stephanie.
Shelby, Leo's Law is a bill that, if passed, it will mandate fentanyl testing in specific Department of Human Services cases. The bill was created after the death of 3-year-old Leonardo Toe. It happened in June of 2024 when Leo was in the care of his mom. Leo's dad, Jacob Toe, says she was under DHS supervision. Toe adds she was suspected of using fentanyl, but it wasn't included in the drug testing they gave to her.
I knew that there's a way to prevent this. You know, if DHS would have tested for fentanyl, then, Leo probably wouldn't have been with his mother and it probably wouldn't have happened.
Toe says after Leo's mom completed her drug test, he was returned to her and passed away about 4 months later from exposure to fentanyl. Shelby.
Thanks, Stephanie. And if passed, the law would help prevent unsafe reunification with parents. Parents could also face felony charges for exposing a child to fentanyl. Well, officials say the partial government shutdown could continue into the week as lawmakers remain divided over immigration enforcement. House Speaker Mike Johnson says it will be days before a funding bill comes up for a vote. On this morning's D.C. debrief, our Washington Bureau Chief Alex Cameron spoke about the president's interest in resolving the impasse.
President Trump, who has been mostly hands off on all this appropriations activity, decided to get involved. He was notoriously disengaged during the record-setting shutdown back in the fall, but he quickly got involved and was like, no one wants a shutdown.
Congress is expected to vote on new restrictions for ICE operations in the next 2 weeks. Our comprehensive statewide coverage of Governor Kevin Stitt's final State of the State starts tomorrow morning at 11 with exclusive pre-speech analysis live from our Capitol on our Oklahoma Zone Politics YouTube channel. So scan the QR code on your screen and subscribe now to see that coverage. And now we're taking a live look at the Will Rogers International on our Lucky Star Skycam network. Starting today, if you don't have a real ID, you will have to pay a fee to fly. The TSA, that is, will require flyers to get on a real ID or another acceptable form of ID like a passport. Otherwise, you'll have to pay $45 to verify your identity. Well, a heads up for streetcar riders. Embark says it will be temporarily suspended today due to the new Thunder Arena construction. Embark says that buses will still be available to take riders every 25 minutes along the downtown loop through 10 p.m. today. And a 5-year-old Minneapolis boy and his father are back home in Minnesota this weekend. They were detained by ICE agents and sent to a detention center in Texas, sparking global outrage. CBS's Ian Lee has the story.
5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father, who were detained by immigration officers in Minnesota and held at an ICE facility in Texas, are back in Minneapolis this weekend, released after a judge's order. Democratic Representative Joaquin Castro accompanied father and son back to Minnesota and released these images. A photo of Liam wearing a bunny hat and Spider-Man backpack at the time of his detainment drew global outrage. Ramos was welcomed home by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, among others. Liam's release comes amid a weekend of anti-ICE demonstrations throughout the nation, including in Los Angeles and Boston. Liam's release also comes as Democratic lawmakers continue to push for ICE reforms in Washington. Proposed new restrictions would include unmasking ICE agents and requiring more warrants. On Sunday's Face the Nation, Republican Representative Michael McCall acknowledged ICE operations in Minneapolis under Border Patrol's Gregory Bovino went too far.
Bovino went in there with these roving patrols. He escalated the situation. He escalated the tension between the public and law enforcement.
President Trump said this weekend he is now advising Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem not to intervene in protests occurring in cities led by Democrats unless local authorities ask for federal help.
And if they want help, they have to ask for it. Because if we go in, all they do is complain.
Trump's border czar Tom Homan has suggested the administration could reduce the number of immigration enforcement officers in Minnesota, but only if the state and local officials cooperate. Ian Lee, CBS News, Minneapolis.
We saw a nice rebound in temperatures today, got into the upper 40s, some 50s, even some 60s in parts of Oklahoma, much nicer than the cold spell we felt yesterday. We're going to warm up even more on the 9-day. More on that coming up at the Bombos Weather Center.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm ready to thaw out. Well, listen to this. A sanctuary meant to protect animals is now fighting for survival. Why dozens of animals in McLeod could be at risk after the break.
The back patio will be.
An animal sanctuary in McLeod is being foreclosed on, and without immediate help, organizers say dozens of animals will soon be euthanized. News 9's Elizabeth Fitz went out to the rescue today to learn more.
The founders of the rescue are currently caring for more than 75 dogs and cats. They are partnering with an organization to find homes for the cats, but they still have 55 dogs needing families. All of the animals you'll see in this next video are available for adoption.
Come here, baby. Come here. Yes, I know. These are my babies.
Patty and Robert Forehand say they've been rescuing animals for more than 25 years.
Taking in abused, neglected, and abandoned and dumped animals.
Patty, the founder of Forehand Animal Rescue, is battling several serious medical conditions, including stage 4 kidney disease. She says her doctors only gave her 1 year to live.
We've asked everybody for their prayers. I believe in God, and I know that God has a plan for us to keep us going. We're just trying to save this house any way we can.
The couple say they fell 2 mortgage payments behind after Robert lost his job. They say an error by the mortgage company led to foreclosure proceedings. This is the second time the couple says they have faced foreclosure in the last few years.
Now that I've got a job and I'm back to work, keeping the payments up, we can do.
It's not a problem.
It's just getting the money, getting the $7,000. That's the hard part.
They say the $7,000 will allow them to reinstate their home loan and get back on track.
By saving our home, we saved the lives of all these animals that we've desperately worked hard to keep these animals going.
She says the sheriff's office told her they would likely euthanize the animals in the event the couple lost their home. There are several ways you can save these animals from euthanasia, whether that's adopting one or donating so the 4 hands can keep their home. We'll have all the ways you can help on news9.com. In the newsroom, Elizabeth Fitz, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Yeah, there's some happy dogs there. I hope they get the help they need. Well, the rescue, it's still taking dog and cat food donations. Again, we're going to have all that information on news9.com. Of course, we have meteorologist Andrew Adams here with us. We saw the dogs playing outside there today.
Nice day for it.
I took my dog for a walk. I mean, the temperatures felt amazing, especially compared to what we've had.
Yeah, it did. And it was a nice and quiet day. Great first day for you to have a first show, by the way. You're not getting tossed into trial by fire with a bunch of breaking news and severe weather right now, which we all know Oklahoma is capable of doing. We're making it easy for you, getting it in here. And overall, today was the first step in a pretty nice warm-up that we have on the 9-day. Some parts of the state almost hit 70 this afternoon. Now, here across the metro is more upper 40s and low 50s, but parts of the state were really warm. We're starting to thaw out more. We started off very cold, but the sunshine certainly helped. So only a little bit of snow on some of our Lucky Star Skycam network shots. A lot of the shaded areas, the snow is going to linger a little bit longer. The piles in the parking lots we'll see, and everyone enjoying the ice skating rink in downtown. In that top corner shot there, a great evening for it. But this morning, we did start off cold. Many teens across the state, 20s down in Texas, 20s all the way down into Florida. We even had some mid-30s down toward the Miami area. That's cold enough for the cold-blooded invasive species, those iguanas down in Florida. They don't like the cold a lot. They fall out of the trees that they roost in when the temperatures get that cold because they are cold-blooded. Their body just can't handle it very well. This doesn't kill them most of the time, but it does kind of stun them. It keeps them from being able to circulate that blood so well, so they basically pass out and fake freeze. But yesterday, we certainly froze. 24 was our high here in Oklahoma City. Today, we rebounded pretty nicely, up to 49, at least here in Oklahoma City. So we ended January on a cold note, started February on a nice note. January as a whole, we saw a little bit of everything. We started the month very warm. We saw some record heat. That hottest temperature of 76 degrees was a record. We had tornadoes early on, 5. That tied for a record most tornadoes in January in Oklahoma history. And we saw that, of course, very potent snowfall that is still on the ground in some spots. But as we go through our February, we're going to start to notice a nice trend. Our average highs, average lows, they both start to tick up pretty nicely. We're going to be warmer than our averages for several days, and we see a little bit of rain, and of course we could see some snowfall. It's February after all. We all remember the freeze of 2021 and what February can do, but none of that is on the 9-day. There's a cold front in the northern plains. That's not going to pay us much of a visit. It was very quiet here across the south central United States today, and it will remain that way tomorrow. More 50s and 60s back on tap. We do have a cold front that comes through on Tuesday. That's going to cool things off a little bit. We'll have a brief chill Wednesday afternoon. Some of us see highs in the 40s once again. But once that gets out of here, our pattern's pretty favorable for some warmer days ahead. Several days in the 60s, staying mostly dry in the cold air, hanging out up in the northern and northeastern United States, because that's where the polar jet stream, that's kind of one of the main drivers for bringing the cold air south. It stays up to the north. We've got the tropical jet and more mild air with a south breeze for several days here across the south central United States. So temperatures will be warmer than normal going through much of the first 10 to 11 days of February, except for up in the northeastern United States. A very quiet look on our Lucky Star Skycam network. Integris Cam, people out driving nicely. 48 degrees right now, feels like 43, so we are still cool enough in some spots of the state. You can see the 40s from parts of southwestern, central, and eastern Oklahoma, even some 30s up in the far northeast that it does feel a little bit chillier than it actually is right now, except look out in far western and northwestern Oklahoma, there are still some 60s on the board. So some of us were able to warm up pretty nicely, but right now wind chills for the vast majority of us in the lower half of the 40s and a few 30s off to the east and north. Overnight tonight, it's a seasonal chill. We're back into the upper 20s, some low 30s with the south breeze. Tomorrow afternoon, we warm up very nicely, 61 in Oklahoma City, mid to upper 60s in parts of southern and southwestern Oklahoma, a little bit cooler up north, where highs are still in the 50s, and then we cool a little bit Tuesday. The north wind returns, that cold front passes through fairly early. We could see a couple of showers in eastern Oklahoma, but most of us stay dry. As we get into Wednesday morning, a few flakes possible in parts of far northwestern Oklahoma and the Panhandle, but again, most everyone staying dry through this event as our cold front drops temperatures through our Wednesday afternoon highs back in the 40s. So a little bit of a midweek chill. And then we warm things back up. It's looking really nice, almost spring-like by the end of the 9-day. Shelby, that's all I got. I'll send it over to you.
Hey, you got some good stuff, Andrew. I'm a fan of the warm-up. And check it out. The NBA All-Star reserves, they're set. Can another Thunder player make the cut? Plus a preview of tonight's game in Denver. That's next.
Whether you're the person who jumps out, driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is News 9.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Riverwind Casino Sports Desk. For the first time in his young career, Chet Holmgren is an NBA All-Star. He joins SGA, who was named a starter in January. Holmgren's averaging nearly 18 points per game, along with over 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. He's currently the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year as well. The Thunder in action tonight in Denver. A little bit later of a tip, let's bring in our Thunder reporter Stephen Geehee from downtown Denver. Steve, what are you expecting tonight?
It's going to be a very loud crowd. It's going to be a late tip-off, 8:42, so we'll see how many Nuggets fans stay the duration. But I think Oklahoma City is going to be in for a big fight tonight, and we're kind of glad that January is over. It was a rocky month for the Thunder. They finished 9-6. Nuggets were 10-6, and they were playing without Nikola Jokic. Both teams still dealing with injuries, but Nikola Jokic is back for Denver. He returned Friday, and he was great against the Clippers. In about 25 minutes of work, he had 31 points and 12 rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein with the defensive assignment on Nikola Jokic tonight.
They have a great group of guys. Main focus is always on Jokic, but I think they have good complementary pieces that we just have to, just as a team in general, just get back to playing the way we want to play, and I think we'll be good. It's great for the game. It's great for the league, having games like this where fans can be invested as they are.
Isaiah Hartenstein did not like the way he played in Minneapolis, so expect better from number 55 tonight. This is a tough week for the Thunder. You have the Nuggets, and then they have the Magic back home at San Antonio. Then the Rockets come in next Saturday, so this is a tough stretch for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like I said, game time coming up at 8:42, your time back in Oklahoma. Chris, take it away.
All right, thank you, Steve. The OSU men won yesterday while the Sooner men fell again, but the women are the ones taking center stage today. 10th-ranked OU playing at number 4 Texas, and the Longhorns led by as many as 21 points in the first. But just before halftime, Peyton Verhulst, check this out, from well beyond half court, beats the buzzer. 16-point game at the break. Mid-third, 12-point game. Verhulst from deep gets it. A 9-point game, 18 points for Verhulst today. Fourth quarter, Zaya Van blocked but knocks it down. This makes it a 7-point game. But then Texas goes on a 9-0 run from there. OU turns it over 21 times, and the Horns win it 78-70. Oklahoma State at Arizona today, second quarter. Staley Hurd going to work, backs down the defender, scores. She had 23. That's part of an 11-0 run for the Cowgirls, up 31-18. Later in the frame, OSU with one of their 11 steals. Micah Gray goes the other way and lays it in. She also had 23. Cowgirls win on the road, 88-69. And big wrestling today. Number 5 OSU hosting number 3 Iowa State. 133-pound bout. This is a freshman, Jax Forrest, winning by technical fall, 16-0. And then in the 165-pound bout, D. Lockett wins by major decision. The Cowboys get the big win, 24-9, 12-1 on the year, 9 straight wins. And tonight on the Blitz, the story of a multi-sport athlete that is also a preacher. You're not going to miss that. And Shelby, welcome to the desk. How has the show gone so far? How would you grade yourself?
Oh,
First
great
show.
for
Yeah,
myself.
let's hear it. First show.
I think B+. Yeah.
B+?
There's a list of things that I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, but
yeah.
we're passing. And I think that's what matters.
B+.
Yeah.
Being modest. That's
It's okay to be a critic to yourself. It's
fine. Hey, we love Silvia, but we're glad to have you with us on weekends.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have so much respect for Sylvia. It means a lot to get to come on the show. I grew up in Oklahoma, so